Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Let Me Tech You. Today we're going to be talking about the parts 3 and 4 of the CCNA lab setup for inter-vlan routing. And basically, before we get started, just wanted to introduce myself a little better. In the first video, we had some audio issues and kind of got that corrected now. And just a little bit about myself. Uh, I'm a network administrator out of Streetsboro, Ohio. I manage a enterprise network of routers and switches, everything from virtualization, voice. I do data and backup management with a little mix of cloud as far as AWS. I am CCNA certified. I'm currently working on my CCNP. Uh, right now with COVID, it had been delayed a little bit, but still just wanted to start this channel and a website to kind of give you guys some insight on some of the things that I know and are learning throughout my coursework here and also my day job, and some of the things that I may not know. Hopefully I can just give you guys the answers to, or some of you guys can shed light on some of the stuff that I'm talking about. So I had previously recorded this part 3 and 4. I had a slight issue with the audio getting cut off. And what ended up happening was, so my lab here that I'm going to go to, I had already set it up. So basically, what we have on the left side, which is in that part 1 and 2 on my website in that first video, is we set up inter-vlan routing on a layer 3 switch. So basically, if you haven't watched that first video, go ahead and check it out there. It's on my YouTube channel and also my website, letmetechyou.com. And if you don't know a little bit about networking or too much or what a layer 3 switch is, so you have some switches that can only just basically, act as a switch, access devices connect to it, and then they send, you connect up to, other routers to connect to other networks. So with a layer 3 switch, you're able to set up basically switch virtual interfaces to be able to route to other parts of a network. So if you set up other VLANs, you can set up some virtual interfaces in here to be able to route to those without having to go up to a router. So on this right side here, what I ended up doing was setting up um, my sub interfaces. So now this switch in the middle acts as just a normal switch. So these devices, although they're in a different VLAN from each other, they route up to the router to get down to the other side of the network. And this middle part here is connected. So these devices have these routers here have static routes to get out to the other side. So basically, once it comes to this router, it'll see that it's not routing for anything on this side. So it has a static route saying basically anything that I can't route for, send it out to this side. And then it's going to do its work, go down to the device and reply back. So I'm just going to go through, actually just run through. And so if you haven't gone to my website yet, I have these configurations all set up on the website. So if you want to look at this topology and set it up yourself, you can put together some routers and some switches and like a virtualized or emulated environment. You can use I use EVE and G. You can use GNS3. You can use Packet Tracer. And basically just configure it the same way. Now your ports may be different. Mine are Ethernet ports. Yours may be fast Ethernet or gigabit. But basically you just want to follow through and kind of keep you can keep the IP address scheme the same. You can change it up. I just use /24, which is Class C addresses to kind of keep it simple and easy. And you just run through this config and set everything up, and kind of give brief descriptions on what's going on. So if you are unfamiliar with some of these terms and things like that, I kind of explain, a little bit what's going on. So if you do have questions that need answered, you can always reach out to me through the YouTube channel or through the website. Leave a comment, and I can get back to you. So going back to the topology here, so for part 3 and 4, Basically, what I did was on the switch, open that up here. So we're going to look here and show VLAN brief. And as you can see, I set up two VLANs. I got a VLAN 75 and a VLAN 85. And I put these two ports in their own separate VLAN. And as you can see, I got port 3 and port 2 in that VLAN. And that's kind of mainly everything that I did for this particular switch. Since we're not really doing anything on there, I can show the interfaces, show IP interface brief. And as you can see, for VLAN 75, I just added a IP address on the actual interface. So basically, for that VLAN, it just gives you a way to set up, or you can get into the switch that way to kind of configure it or something if you're on like a desktop using something like Putty or something like that. So set that up, and also I changed the native VLAN to 999 on some most devices or network devices. The native VLAN is one. A security best practice is to change it and set it as something else so that you're not sitting flat and anything connecting to that is jumping directly on VLAN 1. It kind of forces you to configure your devices a specific way. So I can just do a show run and just run through this. And as you can see, I also set the top interface, which is this here, Ethernet 00 as a trunk port. And I also set only specific VLANs allowed across that trunk port. That's another great thing to do so that you're configured to only allow certain VLANs to go over a trunk port. And if you're ever adding any extra VLANs to it, you want to make sure you do a switch port trunk allowed VLAN 75, 85, add the additional one, and then not, so that if you only do the VLAN ID that you want to add, you'll clear out all the other ones and you basically bring your network to a screeching halt. So that's the configuration we got there. And we're going to go over to the router here and just show some of the configuration changes that I put in here. And like I said, all this is on the website. And also, if you want to follow through, like I said, if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out. So as you can see, I have some stuff already up here. So if I scroll back through, if I do a show IP route, so you see I have my gateway of last resort is 10.1.3.1, which is the other side's interface. So basically I'm saying anything I can't route for that's trying to get out, send to this side, and then it'll do the routing. And basically if you're on like a corporate network of some sort, your gateway of last resort may be like your ISP or something, or could be your firewall. So looking into this here, I'm going to go ahead and also look at the interface. And you're going to see I set up some sub interfaces here. So you see these are how the devices on that network are routing between each other. So these two PCs, their default gateway is a sub interface on the router. So what that does is, so now whenever I ping a device, it's going to hit this 10.3.75.1 and then route over to the other side and vice versa. And then as you can see, we have a sub interface for our native VLAN as well. And then we have the port set up for our outside IP address. And basically what that does is it's set up also so there's a static route on this side that says anything that I can't route for on this side, send to this router. And just a quick test there just to show you the interconnection between the two networks. And this could be a typical like setup for like say either two buildings connected to each other, of the sort, a WAN network. So just something similar. Every scenario may not be the same. So you may, this could be just, one side of your building and you could have another switch Here you could have multiple switches here for redundancy, and that's where you can get into like spanning tree and failover links and stuff like that. So just to do a quick test, as you see, so this PC1 is actually, I believe the IP address is 10.250.50. So I'm going to ping this 10.375.50. So if I go over here, and I'm just going to ping this 10 dot, I think I said, what did I say again? 10.3.75.50. So ping 10.3.75.50. It says it's not reachable. So let's see what's going on here now. So I may have had some configuration that didn't get completed. So let's look at it here. So I'm going to do show IP. So the gateway is 10.250.1. I'm going to go here and look at it and make sure 10.250.1 is configured. So enable T show IP interface brief. So 10.250.1 is administratively down. So what that means is I never brought that up when I created that interface VLAN there. So if I go into config T interface VLAN 50 and just do a no shut, it'll come up. See it come up there. See it's changed the state up. So now if I do a show IP interface brief, you can see that's up now. So now if we go back to that device, we do a ping 10.3. So sometimes you get a first timeout because it's times out from that ICMP reply, and then now we get actual ping requests. And now if I do a show, I can even come here and do a show MAC address table. We can see now that in VLAN 50, this computer is connected to port 3. If I come over to PC2 and do the same thing, we're going to get the MAC address table getting built out on the switch there. So we go ping 10.3.50.50. I might have put the wrong 10.375.50. Sorry. 75.50. So as you can see, we got a reply back there. So that's how we know that both sides are talking. It's actually getting all the way over here and it's coming all the way back. So I really don't even have to test this side. I mean, I can, but we know that the traffic is flowing. Or if it wasn't, it wouldn't be working. So, basically I would have worked my way here, saw this was configured, worked my way here, saw I could connect there, work my way here, I get connection there, and just work it all the way down. So that's a good troubleshooting method. Instead of trying to jump between different devices, seeing what's configured, just simple, hey, ping here, that works, ping there, that works, ping here, that works. If it stops, we know something's wrong here. Look in there, fix it, keep going all the way down. So that's up. That's everything for today. For part 3 and 4 of inter-vlan routing. Simple setup, simple lab, just an easy way to kind of get your feet wet in creating sub interfaces, managing VLANs on switches, and setting up static routes between different routers. And from there, I'll continue to add more videos. I'll keep going down the Cisco path. Eventually, I will get into like some virtualization and cloud, AWS specifically. I do manage a little Office 365, so if you have any questions with that as well, I can also get some tech articles and videos going with that. So I do plan to write articles and do videos for all of my labs. So if you enjoy them, again, go ahead and follow my YouTube channel and share and subscribe. And again, thanks for tuning in today.